DDO Players News is brought to you by the Table of Ultimate Gaming Kickstarter. Are you in the market for a brand new gaming table? How about a table that you can customize to your specifications? Kickstarter table packages start at only $599 for the 3x5 table and also a 4x6 table available as well. Each table does come equipped with AC power and USB power outlets at 2 locations on the table. The green mats and the Cthulhu decoration packs are now unlocked as stretch goals. Now, the deco packs you can choose from do include the dragon, the castle, the skull, the Celtic, and the Cthulhu. Your playmat choices do include blue, green, red, and black. Kickstarter did fund in 5 minutes and is currently, as of this recording, setting at $539,673 of the original $25,000 goal. There is 23 days to go, so you can still get in on the Table of Ultimate Gaming Kickstarter. Just go over to our show notes to find the URL.
Good day, everyone. This is Pilot Noodles, and welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in DDO and on the tabletop. Please welcome my co-host from Ravenloft, Dracula.
Hello, everybody. How's it going?
Hello there, Draken. Let's see what is going on at the site, but let's begin with a gaming news, and we'll begin with a community rules update. This is an update to the rules for how to be on the forum, and I think you can sum it up in the first 2 words of the whole list.
Which is nice. What? Be nice. That's right. Just be nice. Don't be a moron, in other words. Yeah, not much has changed in these. Basically, it's just they kind of changed some wording, I think, to make it a little more comprehensible and a little less legalese a little bit. But yeah, basically, just don't be stupid. And, everybody have fun, get along. It's a game. We're all here to have fun.
Right.
So not much more to there. And then, but the interesting thing is that they did, some people that were previously banned are no longer banned on the forums. So welcome back. Don't be stupid or you'll get banned again. So there you go.
Essentially, they got rid of the old point system. And some people were banned as a result of accumulated points. And with the point system being gone, any bans that were a result solely of the point system would have been unbanned. Now, of course, if you did something really crazy that got you outright banned or something close to that, then you might not be unbanned. But if it was just simply by points, then welcome back, yes.
Right. But yeah, and like I said, these rules are like common sense rules. Like, be nice, respect people, don't insult or harass others, don't troll, don't accuse people of being trolls, which is always funny when you accuse somebody of being a troll. You're being a troll yourself. But anyway, don't use loaded words to insult a group of players. Don't call for the devs or other SSG employees to be fired, killed, get sick, etc. Don't be abusive to SSG employees. No racism, inappropriate content, or other isms. We do not permit harming in our naming and shaming. No doxing. And if you don't know what doxing is, that basically means do not give people's addresses, phone numbers, social security numbers, all of that. If you find out somehow, don't do that. That's bad. No profanity. They try to keep it fairly clean on the forums. And don't bring up old arguments in unrelated threads. And it is a no politics, religion-free zone. So basically, just be nice.
Yes, be nice.
Or you can follow the words of Will Wheaton and don't be a dick. Mr. Wheaton sums it up perfectly. There you go.
Right. And we have a post from Cordovan who says that we are expecting to release the cleric domains in Update 36 Patch 2, which is expected to hit Lemania as soon as the end of, well, he said next week, but that will be this week now, since that was posted on the 30th.
Yes, and he did talk about this on both the last week's Wednesday and Friday live streams. There was a bunch of questions about that, but the goal is, as of Well, as of then, I should say, but I didn't see anything different on the forums today. Well, of course, it was a holiday today, so nobody was there. But anyway, he did say that their goal is by the end of this week, so Thursday or Friday-ish, update 36 patch 2 should be up live on Lamania, and that will include the new cleric domains, the favorite soul enhancements, and the various bug fixes they are working on. So we might have that to look forward to this weekend. And then he also added on one of the live streams that work on Ravenloft is progressing well, but that's all he said. They're being very tight-lipped about the Ravenloft information. Come on, it's time to let a few things slip. I think we need to get Cordovan on the show and see if we can't get him a little chatty.
Well, if I remember correctly, we didn't get much information concerning Mordor either.
No, I don't think you guys did. So yeah.
Yeah. So we'll probably get information around October 1st.
Probably. And I know they did ask, I know, like every live stream, because I usually don't get to watch them live. Sometimes I do, but if I don't watch them live, I do watch when they go up on YouTube. And I think every live stream he does, there's at least 3 or 4 people that say, when is Ravenloft going to be released? And their standard answer is...
When it's ready?
When it's ready. So they never said, for some reason, I guess people... I assume it's just because it's Ravenloft. People assumed Halloween. They never actually said that. They only ever said... Yeah, they said they were shooting for fall. Halloween would be best, but that's all they said.
Okay, yeah.
And I guess a lot of people thought that was written in stone. It was going to be out of Halloween. So my guess is don't look for it to be out for Halloween. I highly doubt it'll be Halloween, but we'll see. Maybe, we'll be surprised. They might be further along than what they're letting on, but I guess time will tell.
We will have to see. So let's head into the Chronicle, issue 248. And where is this from?
The new quest. That is from, why am I drawing a blank on the name? I ran it so many times. Desire in the Dark. That is from that quest.
So the finale to the new zone.
Yes. Yep. That is from that quest. Seen those succubus many, many times. In our community spotlight this week, we have a French player that created a French language Discord server. I'm not even going to pretend I'm going to pronounce that name because there's a bunch of numbers in there. I'm thinking it's supposed to be Serenity, and they just did it in like Leet speak because it's S3R3NYT7. So I'm gonna go with Serenity. But anyway, if you speak French, there's now a Discord server for you.
Yeah, it's rather strange for it to be Serenity though, because if it's a French language server, you would think that. Well, actually, I guess that's the name of the person.
Yeah, that's the player's name. So yeah. So anyway, if you speak French, you've been looking for a French Discord server with a bunch of DDO players. There you go. Click over and find out more information on that. There's another player that is now streaming DDO regularly on their Twitch channel, and that player is Hepastase. You can check him out. Just follow the link in the Chronicle. We also have some fan site news section. Of course, DDO Cast is joined by 2 guests as they talk about leveling from 1 to 3 and what quest that everybody likes to run, what quest everybody does not like to run. That is part of a new series of quests that Patrick is going to do for leveling in DDO. So check that episode out. Bachelor Gore continues his weekly live stream on his Twitch channel as well. Mickey still soloing all those raids. She did Reclaiming the Rift on Reaper difficulty. And Bruce, yep, go ahead. You have a question?
I was just back to DDO Cast thing in there.
Sure.
I'm wondering, is there really much of a choice of what quest to run going from 1 to 3?
Well, there's not so much of a choice of what quest that you can run, but there are some that, you can like skip. Like personally myself, I always skip Korthos. You run Korthos all the time?
Yeah, that's what it's at, because those are the, right. I don't skip Korthos, so therefore I presume that means that some people actually do skip Korthos.
Yes, like me. I'm one of them. I couldn't tell you the last time I did Korthos. It's been a long time since I did Korthos.
Well, I thought it's nice to play someone with a nice cool breeze before heading into sweltering.
Well, yeah, there's that, I guess. And then to round out the fansite news section of the Chronicle this week, Even Notes and crew head into the Manectrian Desert. Check out the latest Streamin' with Even. And of course, we do have our Chronicle comment of the week. The question this week is, what would happen if a doppelganger tried to mimic a mimic?
If a doppelganger tried to mimic a mimic. I'm just trying to figure out, why would a doppelganger want to mimic a mimic? Is because usually I thought doppelgangers try to take the shape of a friend, and mimics don't generally have friends around.
True, and Gumsking in the chat is saying, you would have some really weird-looking babies.
Good.
I must agree with you, sir. Weird babies indeed.
Well, actually, are we really sure that doppelgangers and mimics are really two different creatures?
Oh, see, now you're getting all logically Pine Leaf. Now you're using Pine Leaf logic to try to figure out the question. See what you're doing now? See, now you got me all thinking.
Yeah, and it looks like you have more to go, I think. I interrupted you, if I remember correctly.
Well, I was just trying to think of my answer, and I think my answer to that question is going to be probably it would cause a rift in the space-time continuum. The TARDIS would land in Eberron, and everything would go all timey-wimey, and it would not be good.
Oh, you don't want things to go timey-wimey.
No, you do not.
And this screenshot of the week, a right faces death at the heart of the storm.
That is a really cool screenshot, but don't ask me where it's from. I have no idea. Awesome screenshot, though. I'm telling you, that people have really stepped up their screenshot games in the past couple of weeks for the screenshots that were submitted for the Chronicle. I can see why these won. I can only imagine the ones that were just as good that didn't win the screenshot of the week.
Oh, well, yes, they don't have honorable mentions posted on occasion.
Every once in a while they do, but it's been a long time since they've done that. I just would not want to be the person that would have to pick the winners of that, because I can imagine how many screenshots they get and how many amazing screenshots they get. So
sometimes it's the difference isn't necessarily which one is the, it would have to be a good screenshot, obviously, in order to get down to the finals. It's like whichever one catches the fancy of the person picking them at the right moment can very often be the one that's chosen, especially since it's not a formal contest.
Well, that's true, too.
Or at least I'm assuming it's not a formal contest.
Well, no, not really. It's kind of more an informal thing. Well, you do get 500 DDO points if you're picked, so.
Ah.
So I guess technically that would make it an official contest, I guess. I'm not sure.
All right. Let's see what's on sale.
We have 20% off select classes, Supreme Ability Tomes and Ability Potions, Alignment Changes, and PRR, MRR Potions. We also have our free sample of the week, of course, through September the 7th. It is a Greater Crafting Experience Elixir, and you will get that when you use the coupon code CRAFTMORE, and that is more without the E, so it's CRAFTMOR.
Uh-oh. It's getting contagious. The MORs.
Yeah, I was going to say the Lotro code was similar to that this week.
Oh, Lotro has had MORs for the last 2 months because of Mordor.
Ah, gotcha. So you're saying Mordor is invading Eberron again?
Yeah, it sounds like it sounds like the denizens of... Maybe this is where Sauron's host decided to go after Mount Doom exploded and all that fun stuff. Some of them that fled to Eberron.
It very well could be. That would actually explain a lot, I think. And don't forget, we do have double bonus points in the DDO store, and that runs through September 11th. It was supposed to be the 10th, but there was some kind of issue on the back end, and it wasn't working correctly, so they did extend it for 1 day. So double bonus points through September the 11th.
Then listen and find out what's coming in from the dungeon. And we'll begin with The Road Goes Ever On for Adventures in Middle-earth PDF out. This is a source book, I believe, for Lore Masters.
It is, and of course, Lore Master is the term that Adventures from Middle-earth uses for the Dungeon Master. What this is a 32-page supplement book that will give you some extra inspirations for your journey events as you wander around Middle-earth. There's also going to be some helpful tables to generate and inspire some different encounters for your players that are wandering around the vast lands of Middle-earth. There's also a new generation system for Middle-earth ruins. So if you don't have enough ruins in your game and you want some more, you can learn how to generate some ruins for your players to go check out. And of course, you could combine that with the encounters, and there you go. You have a little mini dungeon for them to explore right then and there. And it also includes a selection of some pre-made monsters to drop in just to keep your players on their toes. This is the PDF only right now. The actual hardback copy of this will be out later in the fall, but this is available over on Drive-Thru RPG for $14.99. And of course, that is PDF only. As I said, you can pre-order the Prince Edition directly from Cubicle 7's website for $29.99.
Yes, when we were discussing this on our sister site, we were wondering about taking a certain professor through an adventure with this ruins table, and if he'd spend the entire adventure looking at the ruins while everybody else is fighting whatever encounters have be set there.
If you've ever watched any of the professor's live streams, yes, he would.
Yes,
that's what Corey Olsen pretty much is known for. So yes, he would.
Very well. Let's now go into WotC details concerning this year's Extra Life plans.
Yes, WotC does always participate in Extra Life, and they raise a ton of money for the kids. And if you're not familiar with what Extra Life is, there is one day, well, you can do it any day actually, but they try to get everybody to do it on one specific day. But what you do is you raise money by playing games. You can play any type of games you want. You can play role-playing games, you can play video games, you can play board games. You do whatever. You just get donations while you're playing the games, and then all of the money that is raised goes to the Children's Miracle Network of hospitals, which there are many different Children's Miracle Network hospitals all throughout the United States, and you just pick a hospital that you're raising money for, and whatever money you specifically raise money for will go to that hospital, and that is used to buy stuff like video games and video game system and board games, so while the kids are in the hospital, they can have something to do and something to be entertained. And of course, WotC always participates in this every year, and they usually do some cool stuff. And this year is no exception to that. They are going to start streaming D&D on November the 3rd. The D&D team, along with Satine Phoenix and Rudy Rutenberg from Maze Arcana, are going to be playing D&D over on the Twitch channel. And then on November 4th, they are going to play 12 straight hours of live D&D, and that is going to be the official Extra Life event. And then, of course, WotC always does the cool stuff is when you donate money, they set donation goals, and once they hit those goals, they start giving rewards out. And this year, the rewards are at $5K. You will get a downloadable art gallery from the new Tomb of Annihilation quest book that is coming out soon. At $10K, you're going to get a sample list of random encounters from Xanthar's Guide to Everything, which is out in November. $15K, you're going to get a sample list of suggested character names from Xanthar's Guide to Everything. At $20K, sample life events for characters from Xanthar's Guide. So we're getting a lot of Xanthar's Guide stuff. That's because it's not actually going to be out yet, and by this time this starts, Tomb of Annihilation will be out. $25K, wizard spells from Xanthar's. $30K is subclasses from Xanthar's, and $40K, you'll get the wonderful table of content from Xanthar's. But wait, there's more.
What?
They're also doing something they're calling the Turtle Package. As a further bonus this year, they are working feverishly to create a special downloadable over on the Dungeon Masters Guild. Chris Perkins and the rest of the D&D team have specially created turtles as a playable race.
What?
That will be made available in the coming days, with all the proceeds from this download over at the Dungeon Masters Guild going straight to their Extra Life. And you might be asking yourself, what the heck is a turtle?
I must admit that has crossed my mind.
A turtle is a race of anthropomorphic turtles that have appeared in previous editions of Dungeons & Dragons. But they haven't been, I'm trying to think, maybe second edition is the last time I think they actually were a playable race. I know they did show up in 3.5, but you couldn't play them. They just kind of like showed up. So yes, if you ever wanted to be an anthropomorphic turtle, now you're going to be your choice. You can be a turtle. Pine Leaf the turtle.
Okay, so I presume that this race is inspired by a certain ninja anthropomorphic.
They're kind of like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but of course they were way before the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But yeah, it's more like the Teenage.
Oh, it's not
Ninja
inspired
Turtles
by.
were inspired by them. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I couldn't remember when Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles first came out.
Like 88, 87, 88.
Okay, I guess I just don't remember the turtles. So
they were kind of a niche thing. I mean, they weren't ever that popular, really. I mean, it was just kind of like a cool, weird thing. If
they were on sort of the third or fourth string supplement books, usually.
Exactly, yeah. And then also included in that is going to be an adventure location and some new monsters as well. So look for the Turtle Package coming to the Dungeon Masters Guild soon. So November the 4th, you are going to get a lot of D&D over on twitch.tv/D&D as they raise money for Extra Life.
Now then, let's head in and see what's coming in from the tabletop. Where we ask the question, what happened to Ichabod Crane?
That is a good question, and one you're going to be able to answer when the Legends of Sleepy Hollow board game comes out later next year from Greater Than Games. This is from the creative minds over at Greater Than Games. They have announced this is going to go up on Kickstarter. In the Legends of Sleepy Hollow, players are going to take on the roles of 4 residents: Undertaker Jeremiah Pinnock, I guess, Elijah Keppel. These are some really weird names. Revolutionary War veteran Mathis Garius and Tanner Emily Von Winkle. I wonder if she's in any relation.
Yeah. I was just wondering. Having a name like Van Winkle is very telling, I have to say, especially in Legends of Sleeping Hollow, since that would be around the same time.
Yes. It
was. Let's see. Okay, so Jeremiah Pinkle. Okay, Elijah Capel, Matthias Giroux, and Emily Van Winkle. That's quite a set of names.
That is a set of names, and you are going to take those characters through a cooperative, miniature-based campaign game full of secrets and twists. During the game, players are going to be able to use a action pool to move about, investigate, and interact with the environment, and unleash powerful attacks and abilities to each unique character. Once selected, however, these abilities will be unavailable until the character's action pool has emptied, a process that becomes more complex as the character gains fear. Ooh. Players are going to have to work closely together to overcome their fears, unravel the mysteries of the Glen, and become the true legends of Sleepy Hollow. This game is going to go up on Kickstarter starting October 17th. We will get a chance to get this kickstarted, and then, of course, it'll be out in 2018.
Now, you know what I see is really good about this game? They All right, you have a game here that's based on people investigating something that is terrible and fear-inspiring, and they did it without Cthulhu.
True. I didn't think about that, but very, very true. One of the very few games that feature fear and does not feature Cthulhu. You are totally correct.
Then, with that in mind, let's head off and see what's on the screen. And we'll begin with Warhammer Vermintide 2, which has been announced. What is Vermintide? It means time for vermin to come out?
Kind of. You can say that. You are fighting giant rat men, so you could say it's vermin. Yes.
Okay.
This has been announced. A sequel to the Warhammer End Time Vermintide is in the works. It's announced by developer Fat Shark. It is coming, and that's really about all we know. Other than October 23rd, 2015, the world was introduced to the world of Warhammer Vermintide, and since then it has sold over 1.5 million copies. And the sequel has been rumored for a long time. It is now official. Basically, what it is it's set in the world of Warhammer. It's the role-playing world, not the 40K world.
Oh.
A lot of people were confused about that when Vermintide first came out.
Okay, you mean you wind up playing a Skaven?
No, you fight Skavens.
Oh, you fight Skaven. Okay.
Yes. Hence the name Vermintide. And if you're not familiar with what Skavens are, they're basically little rat men. So yeah, really, that's about all we know. There is a Steam page up now, so you can wishlist the game. No date has been announced. There was a teaser trailer up, and that's about it. They did say you're going to get more on October 17th, so they're just kind of like teasing us until then.
I have to admit that the only place where I'm familiar with the Skaven was back in the 3rd edition of Talisman, which was, I guess you could almost say, the Warhammerized version of Talisman.
I forgot about that edition, but yeah.
You forgot about Talisman, or you forgot about the 3rd edition, or what?
The 3rd edition.
Yeah, well, that's because the 3rd edition is the forgettable edition because they tried to turn it into Warhammer.
Yeah, exactly. And when you said it's the Warhammer edition, I'm thinking, well, oh yeah, you're right, it is. That's exactly what it was.
Yes. Tales from Candlekeep, Tomb of Annihilation video game coming this fall. Oh, what? There's going to be a Tomb of Annihilation video game? What a huge shocker.
I know, right? But yeah, no, this kind of was a shock because nobody really knew this was coming, and the way they announced it was kind of weird too, but because the only way it was announced is a new edition of Dragon Plus is out. And there's an article in Dragon Plus where they announced this game is coming. You would think they would do something a little more than that, but it sounds pretty sweet, though. This is being developed by a company called BKOM Studios, and it is based upon the Tomb of Annihilation board game, which shall be released soon. And we don't know a lot about the game yet, other than what was in the Dragon Plus article that I talked about.
It's based on the board game?
It's based on the board game. They're basically taking the board game and they're turning it into a computer game.
Okay.
The producer did say it's similar, but not exactly the same game as the board game. Tomb of Annihilation is the 5th iteration of the adventure system, but this is the first digital version of the adventure system, which that brings up another point. I can never understand why they never made video games of the adventure system games before.
Especially Ravenloft?
Especially Ravenloft, exactly. And they do say the gameplay rules and all mechanics have been evolving throughout the years of the Adventure System board games, so we had a lot of content to work with. Although we've adapted the main mechanics, We've tweaked things to take advantage of the digital medium. For example, we wanted the digital version to have a faster pace than the board game, so we chose to automate some actions like dice throws and card shuffling. The game feels faster because the players don't need to manage that many components as they do on the tabletop board game, but they can focus their strategy rather than keeping track of everything.
And they don't have to worry about reading all these tactics cards for the enemy. It just automatically handles them.
Exactly. The game will handle all that for you. You just have to figure out how to stay alive. And right now, the game is solo only.
I noticed, though, that there are over 40 quests, because there'd be 13 usually with a adventure system board game. So therefore, they have a little bit more variation. That we'll find out exactly how much.
Yeah, like I said, we really don't know much other than what was in this article, and the article wasn't that big, so they really didn't say much about it. But they did say that it's going to have a unique quests, though. The procedural map generation is going to allow every quest to remain unique, even when replaying them multiple times. And it is a board game experience brought to life. The game is going to highlight most of the features from the popular board game and is going to combine with features unique to the digital version. So it is going to be pretty cool, I think. And once again, this is going to be available on Steam. There is a page, which I've linked in the article, that you can wishlist this. It just says it's going to be releasing fall of 2017. And I did see over on Twitter, people have been kind of asking Beco AM Studios some questions about this. And they did say right now they are focusing on the Tomb of Annihilation. But their plan, if they can make it work, is to release DLC. Basically, how I read into what they said is they're going to wait to see how popular this is, and if it's popular, they're going to release some DLC for it, and that will include stuff for the other Adventure System board games. So you might get stuff from, Drizzt and Ravenloft, and Ashardalon, and Temple of Elemental Evil. That was the other one. So that's in the pipeline. As DLC right now, it's only going to be Tomb of Annihilation. Solo only, you can take one character through, or you can take 4 characters through at the same time.
All right. That sounds good.
But it's just weird to me that WotC didn't make a big deal about this. It's like I hadn't heard anything about this until I got the notice on my iPad that there was a new Dragon Plus issue, and I usually download them as soon as they come out. And I thought, I'll just kind of thumb through this, and I'm, thumbing through it, and I'm like, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, Tales from the Candlekeep, Tomb of Annihilation video game. I'm like, what? What is this? So, yeah, weird that's how they announced it, but here you go. We're talking about it now, so I guess it worked.
Surprise, everybody. Fall 2017. We'll have to keep an eye on that one. And, yes, there is a Steam page for it already, I see.
Yeah, and that is linked in the article, which you can get in the show notes for this episode. You too can be like me and add it to your wish list.
Well, I added it to my follow list since
that will
I
work.
only put things on my wish list if I'm wanting people to buy it, because that's usually I think of wish list as something you put there saying is like, hey, if you wish to buy me a gift.
That's right. Buy this for me, please.
And then I see that some people have these wish lists that have about 300 games on them.
Yeah, I got a couple people on my friends list that have about that many games on their wish list.
And you're saying, okay, now which one of these 100, 200 games that are there should I get them?
Exactly.
And then if they complain about which one I got, well, what's it doing on your wish list?
You should have prioritized your wish list. You can do that. They have numbers. Make sure you put the ones you want at the top of your list.
Yes. And next we'll head on to Middle-earth Shadow of War plays homage to a late developer.
This is just a cool story. I was so impressed that they are doing this. And if you think about the world of Tolkien, most of the memorable things people can say about the stories of Tolkien is of the many recognized characters that Tolkien created. Well, there's going to be one character that is in Shadow of War Tolkien didn't create.
Okay.
And that is going to be Forthhog the Orc Slayer. He is only going to be found in the world of Middle-earth Shadow of War. And that is a tribute to executive producer Michael Forgery. He passed away a little bit earlier this year from cancer. And he was one of the integral parts of the game's development team. And developers Monolith and Warner Brothers, who was the publisher for the game, really felt the loss of their friend, and they wanted to do something cool for him. So they came up with the idea of having some DLC for Shadow of War. So what it is you're going to be able to buy this Forthog the Orc Slayer. And he is going to be a character that you can call upon in a time of need. He is going to come in and just start killing orcs in spades. In the trailer, you can see him just taking on many orcs, and he's just chopping arms off, chopping heads off, just chopping things left and right. He's just wading through orcs, killing all the orcs, and then he just kind of goes away. So if you find yourself in a little bit of a jam, you can call on him, and he will help you in-game once again. And he is modeled on the actual executive producer, so he looks like the producer. His mannerisms are going to be like the executive producer. And they just did this as a cool way to remember their friend. And what they're going to do is the DLC is going to be released on October the 10th. That's the same day that Middle of Earth Shadow of War is going to release on the PC, the Xbox One, and PlayStation 4. The DLC is going to cost $4.99, but Warner Brothers is going to donate $3.50 of every purchase of the DLC through December 31st to Forgery's wife and his 3 kids. And there's a little caveat about this. It's going to be USA only. It doesn't exclude Alabama, Hawaii, Illinois, Massachusetts, Mississippi, and South Carolina. Apparently there's some kind of laws about something. I don't know. They just made it clear those states are not
interesting set of states.
Yeah, I have no idea. Laws are weird. And they did say courses avoid where prohibited, and the purchases are not tax deductible, so you can't write it off your taxes. But it's just a cool way that they're gonna help his family out. So you can do a good deed and get a cool little Orc Slayer for your Shadow of War game.
All right, then let's head into our week in gaming. Drac, what have you been up to?
Well, I didn't do a lot in DDO this week. I kind of had a busy week in real life again, but I did manage to run the Mines of Tethymar quest. Did it on my level 21 Rogue and my level 19 Shader Cry. Still no drop. Now, let me rephrase that. I did get some of the named loot drops. I didn't actually write down what I got. But, of course, it's not the stuff I want. Why would it be? So I guess when I say I didn't get any drops, technically I got a few drops, just not the ones I want. So,
in other words, your rogue got, I was trying to think something that would be completely inappropriate for any of your characters. And wizard drops, yeah.
Yeah, I think I did get the staff, as a matter of fact. I think it's funny you said that, because I think that is the one that the drop for me was a staff. I'm like, oh, that's going to be nice for one of my alts. But yeah, anyway. So, sigh. Anyway, we'll go on. The quest continues. The RNG still hates me. Nobody's shocked. And the only other thing I did in DDO, of course, I did with you, so we'll let you talk about that. As always, did play a little bit of tabletop games this week. I did go to Fireside Games Smash and Burn Tour at my local friendly game store. Got to chat with Fireside Games. Had a great chat with them. I talked to them, Justin and Anne Marie DeWitt. I talked to them on email a lot, and this was the first time I've actually met them in person, so that was kind of cool, just kind of put, faces to names, and it was like, yeah, I talked to you like 2 times a week, usually on email, and it's really weird to be seeing you in person, but that's how it goes. But did get to check out their 2 new games, which is, the whole purpose of the Smash and Burn tour, and that is Hot Shots and Kaiju Crush. Hot Shots is a pressure luck dice game where you are trying to put out a forest fire. You have fires that are all over the board, and you were trying to put them out before they smolder. And when they smolder, you can only get 8 smolders on the board before you lose. The object is to put out all of the fires. You on your move, you can move 2 spaces, and then you can fight a fire if you would like to. And of course, to do that, you have to, on the tile that you're on, there is symbols, and you have to roll your dice, and you have to roll those symbols. Like there might be 2 fire axes, 3 fire hoses, and like 2 firemen, for example. So on your set of dice, that's what you need to put that fire out. But as long as you keep rolling one of the symbols that you need, you can keep rolling. So that's where the pressure luck element comes in. So, and then you need at least 4 dice to actually get a success to actually put it out. And then if you get 5 dice or 6 dice, then you get like a bonus of a fire break, or you can get a symbol, a little token that will help you, that'll give you a little extra things you can do. So it's a really cool pressure luck style game. I had a lot of fun playing it, other than, and I'm going to try to think about how I can put this nicely, is the person that I didn't know the person. It was this, this is like a open public store event. And for the game is for 1 to 4 players, so they were demoing it with 4 players. And I was there with my friend, and then two other people came and sat down, and that's the 2 that we played the game with. And the one guy we were playing with suffered from the worst case of analysis paralysis I have ever seen in my life. This game is supposed to take 30 minutes. They say 30 minutes is the playtime on the game. Venture a guess, my friend, how long we played this demo game. 30-minute game. How long? Close. 2 hours and 15 minutes. Wow. Let that sink in. A 30-minute game we played for 2 hours and 15 minutes. Now, I have played with people that have analysis paralysis before. Nothing like this. This dude was like overthinking everything. And I'm just like, dude, make a freaking decision and let's move on. I did enjoy the game. The game is fun, but that got a bit much. So finally, about the 2 hour and 10-minute mark, I started just like totally pressing my luck, and I was like trying to make us lose the game because I'm like, this is ridiculous. We're going to be here until the end of time. So yeah. And then Anne Marie from Fireside Games, because I asked her, I said, now, I know this is a 30-minute game. We went for 2 hours and 15 minutes. Is that the longest game you've ever seen? And she said, yes, by far, ever. Even in playtesting. Our playtesting did never go more than about, she said one game went like 55 minutes. And Justin, the designer, was like, 2 hours and 15 minutes. I didn't think that was possible. So yeah, there you go. So Hot Shots is coming out tomorrow, actually, is when that is released. So you'll be able to get that on Amazon and at your friendly local game store. And look for our review coming soon. I have a copy in the mail to me. He did tell me the review copy shipped. He forgot that I told him I was going to be at that. He was just going to bring my review copy for me. And he forgot and he mailed it instead. So it should be in the mail to me soonish. So look for a review of that fairly soon, because I actually want to play it without, somebody that takes 15 minutes a turn to decide what they're going to do. Oh, good. I'm telling you, it was insane. I kept like looking at my friend like, seriously, dude, is he really doing this? So yeah, and then their other game is Kaiju Crush, which is exactly what it sounds like. You are Japanese monsters, and you are destroying a city. You have a board that you're on, and then you have a movement card in your hand, and then you have a movement card that is a community card. And the movement cards, like one of them was Stomp, and that is you can go forward, left, right, or back one space. And then what you're trying to do is, you're trying to like crush the tile that you're on, and then you pick that tile up and take it for your own, and each tile is worth points. And then they also are broken down into like symbols, which are the categories. There's like one of them was like travel, one of them was like money, and one of them was like, I forgot the other ones off the top of my head. And then of course at the end of the game, the most people have the most of one category gets extra points and all that. But the interesting thing about it, though, is if you use the movement card that you have in your hand, that now becomes the community card, and you swap out for the community card. So that's kind of an interesting mechanic. And you can also battle the other players. They're the monsters if you're close enough to them. And that is a really fun way to battle. You basically do a rock, paper, scissors type battle. So you have like fire breath, you have a claw attack, you have a foot attack, you have a tail attack. So you draw 5 of your attack cards, and then you each lay them down face down, and then you flip them up face up, and then you see like if somebody casts, like fire breath, will that be the claw attack, or will that be whatever? So that's how you do the battles. So it was a fun game. We actually didn't get to play that a lot because the other game took 2 hours and 15 minutes, and it was like way past the time that the whole event was supposed to be ending. So we kind of got to play an abridged version of that. So I actually want to get down and like play that more because it was fun from the little bit that we played. I enjoyed it. Once again, I got a review copy of that coming as well, so we'll have a review of that up soon as well. So, but yes, Hot Shots and Kaiju Crush, 2 new games from Fireside Games coming soon. And then did play a little bit of video games, played some more of the Blood Bowl 2 Legendary, which that is going to be out here in the next couple of days, so I'll be able to release my review of it. I just couldn't put a review out yet. They wanted to wait until the game was actually out before any reviews went up. So I will get that up as soon as they tell me I can post it. And then played a little bit more of Conan Exiles. I can really not talk tonight. And that, of course, is for review as well. So look for that soon. So I played a lot of review games this week. That's really about all I did. So how about you, Pine Leaf? What were you up to?
I will begin with what we did together on my Gnome Warlock level 20, not 19. Level 20 Gnome, where we ran House Beneath West, the Black Loch, and the Tide Turn, which finishes up the House Beneath series there.
And we did run those on Epic Normal.
We ran that on Epic Normal. If I remember correctly, we had a couple of places where we got slapped.
Yeah, it was in maybe the Tide Turns. I think the Black Lock we did okay, but I think Tide Turns we had a little bit of problems. We did manage to actually successfully complete both of them, but they were a little challenging, but it was fun. I enjoy those quests.
And then on the tabletop, I was playing some Deep Space D6, and on there I've been seeing what would happen if I played on some of the tougher difficulties, because traditionally I had been playing on easy, and I thought it was high time that I started playing on medium, so I played quite a number of rounds on medium and managed to eventually win with each of the 3 regular ships. You have this drone ship, though, that I have a lot of trouble with, and eventually I did win a game by playing with a variant where you have 8 dice instead of 6. So therefore, even though it was set for medium, it was sort of easy because I had 2 extra dice there. But the drone ship is very, very hard to win on with the standard 6 dice on there. So I tried it with 8, and that seems to be a good balance unless you're a really exceptional player. Then I decided, how would I do if I tried playing with the basic ship on hard setting? And, well, let's just say I got blown up. So that didn't go too well.
So you're saying it was not the smartest idea you've ever had?
Well, it was a good experiment.
Okay, I see.
Yes. I then played a new game that I recently received, The Seventh Continent. And I don't know if you heard about this game?
I want to say yes, or maybe it reminds me of another game. Tell me about it, and then I'll tell you for sure.
All right. Seventh Continent. This is a adventure, I guess card game is a good way of putting it, where everything is really resolved on cards. And the idea is that you've found the seventh continent and that you're going there and you need to remove a curse that's been placed on you. So you go all about this area trying to get to the location of the curse. And it's very dangerous, let's say it about that.
Was this a Kickstarter game?
Yeah, it was a Kickstarter game.
Okay, then I think I maybe saw it on Kickstarter because it sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah. So therefore, it's just recently been released, and in there, you generate this map on there. And one of the unique things on this game is, since it takes a long time to play the game, and because it could consume table space, they actually have as part of the game was what they call a save feature. And when you do the save feature, you save your location, you save your inventory, you save certain status information, and at the same time, you clear the board. So therefore, you return some cards into being available. Some situations become available again and stuff like this. But most important of all, since you're clearing the board, that means certain things that have been consuming up table space now could shrink down or something like this. So if you have only a small amount of table space, you might want to save often. And if you have a large amount of table space and that doesn't get disturbed very often, you might just decide to leave things as they are, except when specifically told that things get wiped.
Well, that's an interesting mechanic. I can't think of any other game that does anything similar to that off the top of my head.
And that's the seventh continent. And let's see if there's anything else here I did. Oh, yes. In Minecraft, I spent a lot of my week in Minecraft essentially building tunnels in my multiplayer series where I have the task to... You're familiar with the Nether?
Yes.
Right. Yeah, so I have the task in order to build the tunnels for the community. We have main tunnels going north, south, east, and west, and I'm building the north and the east tunnels. So I'm just finishing up the original length of the north tunnel and of the east tunnel, so I managed to get through all of that. Now, since the time in which I originally scoped things out, one person on each one decided to go way out beyond the original point, so there is still a little bit more work to be done. But for the majority of the population that's going to be using those tunnels, the tunnels have been built to make the whole place safer so that going through the Nether does not mean getting blasted by gas all over the place. And in addition to that, I have been doing some work on my homage to the Temple of Elemental Evil, what I'm calling my Temple of Elemental Pine.
That's great. I love it.
Yeah. And the main thing that I built this time is coming up with the design for the floor. Because one of the challenges in Minecraft is coming up with the design for the floor and being able to do lighting without mobs popping in all over the place. So therefore, I came up with an idea of having these little 3x3 areas and surrounded by stone for each of those. And those 3x3 areas are going to be with each element. So therefore, I have one with fire, and that's going to be lit with fire, since that's associated with fire. Then the one with water is going to have some sea lanterns in order to give light to there. So each of these is going to have their own light source and also be alternating around to give it some sort of decoration in there. So I decided to have a decorated floor that's going to emit the light, so I don't have to have torch spam all over the place. I can have this big hall without a single torch on the floor and not having to worry about creepers popping in and blowing you up.
So, like, how detailed are you getting with, like, the Temple of Elemental Evil?
Well, right now, as I said, it's a homage. And right now, I'm only at the top floor. And the top floor, now since the top floor of the real Temple of Elemental Evil was pretty much ruined and you don't spend much time in there, I'm doing something completely different there. And it's only when I get downstairs where I'm going to really start to try and outline that's to do with it. And trying to do exactly what's there is going to be would be impossible simply because mobs are going to be popping up where I have spawners or maybe where I have darkness, and as opposed to where I'm doing anything else, because I certainly don't want creepers popping in all over the place, so therefore having too many dark rooms is probably not a good idea unless the room's made of obsidian or something that's not going to be torn up as soon as a creeper comes through. So I still have some challenges to there, though I do have a couple of spawners there for zombies and skeletons, and I suspect I'm going to be utilizing them for some of the rooms, and hopefully they're close enough to something that's in the real dungeon that I could be able to play on that. I don't know. I have no idea whether this is going to look vaguely like the Temple of Elemental Evil, nothing like the Temple of Elemental Evil, or someone's saying the Temple of Elemental what? We'll have to find out. But as I said, it's my homage to it at the very least, even if it doesn't turn out to be any type of faithful representation of it. We currently have 22 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to support DDO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you will find rewards, including a mention on the podcast of your choice, or even be a guest with us for an episode of DDO Players News. We did not receive any emails this week, but if you'd like to send us one, you can send it to podcast at ddoplayers.com. You can also follow us on Twitter, the Players Alliance, at Players Ally, DDO Players, at DDO Players, Draculetta at Draculetta_72, and Pineleaf at Pineleaf News. The Players Alliance has 3 live shows every Monday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have DDO Players News. On the first and third Fridays of each month at 11:59 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have XP Quest. And every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Locho Players News. You can join us for our live shows at ddoplayers.com/live. And remember, DDO Players is brought to you by the Table of Ultimate Gaming Kickstarter. Do you need a new gaming table? How about one that you can customize to however you want it? The Kickstarter table packages start at $599, that's $599 for a 3x5 table, but you can also get them at the larger 4x6 size. There will be AC power and USB power outlets at 2 locations on each table, plus you'll have green mats and Cthulhu decoration packs have been unlocked in this stretch goal so far. We now have Art Deco packs for Dragons, Castles, Skulls, Celtic, and, as I said before, Cthulhu. And the player mat choices are in blue, green, red, or black. The Kickstarter funded in 5 minutes and is currently at $539,000 pledge compared to the original $25,000 goal. And there are 23 days going as of this recording. You can look at our link in the show notes for the Kickstarter URL. And that's right, the Table of Ultimate Gaming. And that is it for tonight. And this is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to quest responsibly.